In this video, I want to talk about Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence is a feature of the latest operating system for macOS, and it has some really neat features that allow you to proofread and edit emails and even the content of certain Word documents. So what I want to do is first show you what it can do, preview that, and then second, show you how you can go about enabling it. Because even if you update to the latest version of macOS, it is not automatically enabled. Okay, first let me show you what it can do. So on your screen, what I have done here is just typed out a random email, made a comma splice and then a spelling mistake, just to show you how Apple Intelligence can work. I've made the font really big so you can see it clearly. The way it works is you can highlight it, and then at the top of your screen you should see this button. That's the Apple Intelligence button. Or you can actually go down and sometimes it'll have this button will pop up. You can also right click and go down to writing tools, and it'll give you a bunch of writing tools that you can use. So here I'm going to show writing tools. It's the same thing that occurs if you press this button. And I'll say, let me proofread, and click the proofread button, and it'll make two changes. It says, you know, I've gotten rid of the comma and I've corrected the spelling. So that's one very useful thing that it can do. You know, it can also make things, it can do a lot of different formatting. So the next three options you see are friendly, professional, and concise. So when you click one of these, what it will do is it will change the tone of your writing to either friendly, professional, or it will concise. It can also summarize, provide key points, list, table, that type of thing. But I want to talk about these three because those three sometimes can be useful. My experience, so let me just show you how that works first. So I'm going to copy and paste in here another, say this is something that you want to email someone. You can highlight it, and then let's say you click Apple Intelligence, and let's say you want it to be more professional. So you click the professional button, and it'll give you something like this. So my experience with using this for editing emails is the professional button tends to make things, you know, write with bigger words basically. And sometimes that's not really what I want. A lot of times that's not really what I want, but it is a feature that's available. You can also do friendly tone. It'll change up the tone of the email to be a little bit more friendly. I haven't really used much of that. And then, of course, concise, where it will try to make it a little bit more concise. You know, these things, you know, they're helpful to a limited extent, but I would say you would have to do a lot of editing after the fact. The real helpful part of this is that the ability to rewrite or proofread something and catch mistakes that you otherwise would not have caught, as well as summarize key points, those types of things. So what a lot of people don't know is that you can actually do the same thing in a Word document. So let's say you're writing a letter and you just want it to proofread real quick. You can highlight the text that you want it to proofread, right click, and then go down here to writing tools, and then, you know, show writing tools, and then proofread, and it'll fix that same problem where, you know, caught the comma and the misspelling. So that this can be a very useful tool when you're writing a letter or you're writing something in a Word document that you want to quickly proofread. And of course, you know, Word also has the normal proofreading tools, spelling and grammar, which I actually think is actually a pretty good as far as spelling and grammar go for editing purposes. Okay, so you want to know, how do I get these features on my computer? In order to get these features, the Apple Intelligence features on your computer, there are a couple of things that you have to do. First, you have to make sure that your computer is up to date using the most recent version of macOS. And the way you do that is you go up to the Apple menu up here, and you click System Settings, and you come down to this General tab right here. And under the General tab, you'll see a Software Update. So you can click Software Update, and you're just going to want to make sure that your Mac OS is up to date with Sequoia. That's the latest version of the operating system as of 2024, and so without Sequoia you will not be able to use Apple Intelligence. Now the second part of this is that you do have to have an M1 or better Mac. So an M1, M2, M3, M4 is the latest version that's out. That is the processor that is in your computer. You can check whether you have an M1 Mac by going up to the Apple menu again and clicking About This Mac, and it'll give you a little dialogue like this, and it'll say this is the chip that you have, and so you'll under chip you'll want it to show M1 Mac. Once you have Sequoia up to date, once you have your operating system up to date, once you know that you have at least an M1, M2, M3, or M4 Mac, you can then open up system settings again by going to the Apple menu and clicking system settings, and then you'll come down here. Once you've done all that, you'll have this Apple Intelligence and Siri tab. Now, when you first click it, the first time you click it, you're not going to see all of this. What you will see is a button right about here that says Join Waitlist. So you have to go here and click Join Waitlist before you get access to Apple Intelligence. Once you do, once you've joined the waitlist, and then usually a few hours passes, and you're on. They've enabled Apple Intelligence for your computer, then you can start using these features in your Word documents or your emails. So I would make maybe one or two caveats or warnings about Apple Intelligence before concluding. The first is that once you run text through Apple Intelligence, whether it's rewrite, proofread, whatever it is, I would always double check. I would reread it one more time just to make sure that it didn't introduce new errors or make an error itself. Just as a safety net, you don't ever want to blindly trust the system to do your editing for you. And then the second caveat or note I would say is make sure that you're not running anything that's really confidential or something that you wouldn't want even a computer to that's not your home computer, not your Mac that's sitting at your desk, but some server somewhere to know about. So just common sense on those fronts, but as long as you're using that type of common sense, these tools can really help you proofread and edit your writing.